At this time, I'd like to introduce another guest speaker. He is the National Liaison for the Vets for Energy, Rear Admiral Loren, U.S. Navy, retired.
Well, good morning, everybody. You know, I'm from Washington, D.C., and as you all know, Washington is the center of all politics in the United States. But you're probably not aware of why Washington is the center of all politics in the United States. And it comes from the derivation of the word politics itself. It comes from the ancient Greek, two roots, poly, meaning many, and ticks, blood-sucking parasites. So I'm here from Washington, and I'm here to help. Comrades, thank you for inviting me to speak here today, and I'm honored to be able to stand before you, an elite group of Americans who have served and who have sacrificed for our nation. Let's take a moment to remember the men and women who are deployed as we speak throughout the globe, defending our freedom to gather here today as we are. We've all been there, and we have to recognize the constant 24/7 service of America's young people that are out there defending our nation. As we did during the moving memorial service yesterday afternoon and earlier this morning, let's also remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the service to our nation. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to speak with you today as a life member of the VFW and the son of a life member of the VFW. And I'm speaking as a member of the group called Veterans for Energy, which is a grassroots organization of dedicated service men and women who have worn the cloth of the nation and understand the importance of energy to our national security. We at Veterans for Energy understand that sound energy policies and national security are inextricably linked. They cannot be separated, they cannot be looked at in isolation. And we at Veterans for Energy, on behalf of the 23.4 million veterans of this nation and their families who have made the sacrifice, who understand the importance of energy to our national security, are compelled to express our views and our concerns to our policymakers and our elected officials. America has made great strides in our homeland with our newfound role as global energy superpower. In particular, as all of you realize, we are the world's leading producer of natural gas and soon will be the world's leading producer of oil. We have reduced the reliance on imports from nations who do not share our interests, or more importantly, our values, the values each one of you have sacrificed and dedicated your lives to defend. And as we've seen in recent events in the Middle East and in Eastern Europe, the profile of America with respect to the role of being energy leader has continued to increase, has continued to play an important role in shaping global security. As we stand here today, there are policy decisions that could further secure our nation and the world's energy future, enhance our national security, and improve our domestic prosperity to a heretofore unprecedented degree. These policies build on the fact that the world will continue to be reliant on oil and natural gas for decades, and that we as Americans fortunately have access to safe and reliable oil and natural gas resources, both domestically and from allies such as Canada, which will enable us to secure our future and our security, and the security of our families. We at Veterans for Energy believe that there are at least 4 policies that our leaders can put in place that will boost the economic, energy, and national security for all Americans. First, we must carefully and responsibly open areas that are currently off limits to oil and natural gas development, and at a minimum, allow seismic surveying to assess what the oil and gas resources available to this nation are possibilities. Today, 87% of our federal offshore waters prohibit oil and gas exploration, including areas off of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. Current data about our oil and natural gas potential in these areas is over 30 years old, and newer technologies could help us locate and uncover even greater resources available to Americans. Opening these areas would increase our domestic energy supply and generate jobs, including many for veterans. And you heard the governor speak yesterday about jobs for veterans. As a Navy veteran of 31 years myself, with half of that time at sea, I share people's concerns about protecting our oceans, our marine life, and our beaches. However, I believe that sound policies and best practices, along with technological advances and strict management oversight, can lead to safe and responsible development of these resources. Furthermore, this development can take place far enough off the coast that will not interfere with military operations or tourism, both of which are critically important here to Florida's economy. Secondly, we can further increase our domestic oil and gas production by allowing states to continue the responsible use of hydraulic fracturing, one of the key technologies responsible for America's energy revolution and making us the leading natural gas provider in the world. Fracking has been the most important factor which has led to our nation's leadership in the production of clean burning natural gas. States have been safely using hydraulic fracturing for more than 70 years without contaminating groundwater and with sound state regulations in place. An EPA study released last week agrees that responsible, proven fracking, as is currently employed, will allow America to continue our energy revolution, generate much-needed jobs, and maintain our position as global energy leader. Third, we can lift the ban on crude oil exports. We have an abundance of sweet, light crude similar to the type produced in Iran. Isn't it smarter to help our allies who need this energy, such as the Ukraine, by supplying them with American-made oil as opposed to importing it from adversarial nations such as Russia? Studies have indicated that exporting this crude oil can also economically benefit Americans by reducing our own fuel costs, generating jobs, and spurring investment across the nation. Yes, we still need heavy crude oil such as that from Canada, but isn't Canada one of America's strongest allies? Isn't Canada our largest trading partner in the world? And isn't Canada a safe and reliable, secure provider of energy? Our fourth and final energy policy that we must put in place is to expeditiously approve infrastructure projects such as the KXL pipeline. It's been 6 years that this decision has languished, and been vetoed by the president. We need to build this pipeline. And with America's aging pipelines, bridges, roads, and other infrastructure needs, we must put policies in place that move these projects forward, that we can continue to develop and efficiently transport energy to its destination. These four policies put us on a trajectory to improve our energy security, our economy, and ultimately, our national security. They will generate much-needed oil and natural gas resources to fuel our civilian and military energy needs. Let's face it, our military is energy dependent. Our nation is energy dependent. These policies will also provide investment and revenue to build schools, roads, and infrastructure projects that this country desperately needs. Equally important, these policies will also wean America off of energy from those who seek to harm the United States and from unstable parts of the world where we have all served. And they will further secure America's position as a global energy superpower. These policies can and must be done in concert with developing and using all sources of energy available to our nation. Oil, gas, wind, solar, geothermal, nuclear, biomass, American ingenuity, American entrepreneurship, and reinvestment in all forms of energy used responsibly can and must make us a strong and secure nation. But of particular importance fully appreciated by all of you here today and all of Americans who have served in the military, these policies can create jobs that will revitalize our economy, jobs that are extremely well suited for our returning veterans, jobs that match up nicely with military specialty skills that our veterans possess, jobs that will ensure that we eliminate veteran unemployment and veteran homelessness, as we heard earlier, jobs that America's energy industry is making an unprecedented effort to make available to our veterans. I personally, through Veterans for Energy, am working very closely with John Stroud and Joe Davis at the national level on seeking programs to ensure that veterans are hired by America's energy industry. As a citizen, a veteran, a father, I'm sensitive to environmental concerns that are being voiced. But on every energy policy I mentioned above, the environmental concerns have been and continue to be addressed through best practices, through policies, and through existing regulation. We must remember that good energy policy, national security, and the best use of abundant energy resources are not mutually exclusive. Of course, we must be good stewards of our planet. But we also must ensure that America is economically sound, that our people are prosperous, and that our military is the best trained, best equipped in the world, and has vital energy resources to ensure it is victorious in every endeavor. Thank you again for your time and allowing me to share my views. Thank you for your continued service to our country. You are a strong force in this nation. We need to hear your voices on these issues. You need to let your elected officials understand the importance of sound, well-thought-out, strategic energy policies and their relationship to the security of this country. It's imperative that you be heard. I enjoin you to do that. We're going to have a booth out here in the display section. We're happy to discuss these items with you. We're happy to answer your questions. We're happy to help discuss with you how you can help the effort. May God bless and protect our men and women serving our nation today, deployed in the defense of freedom. And may God always bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
At this time,